What's up, everybody? And this is What's Up Live. We have a special topic for today, and that is with the successful popularity of the addition of Heihachi as a DLC character into Tekken 8, it begs to question what makes a good DLC character and why. A DLC character is a new character that is added to a video game as downloadable content. DLC stands for a downloadable content, which is digital content that can be downloaded and added to a game after its intentional and initial release. The characters can be new characters or reoccurring
that makes
characters.
sense.
Hey, thank you so much. I appreciate that. It is a way of fortifying a game that the developers use to expand and enhance the gaming experience for everybody by adding new content. Some of the games offer a season pass, which is a package deal, usually at a discounted price. You can get the DLC pass before the character is released, and sometimes when you get the pass before the character is released, you get additional incentives with that. Mortal Kombat is very big with, please get the DLC early, and then we will give you these additional skins, the classic outfits, and special clothing for your characters to have. The first downloadable content for games was the Game Line service in 1983. It allowed the users to download games through a telephone line. So they were starting this back all the way back in 83. It went through the phone line, and that is how people were getting their information. In 2008, Soul Calibur 4 had the option of DLC characters post-launch. Darth Vader and Yoda were those characters. Now, this is suspected to be the first fighting game DLC after a launch. So that was in 2008, Soul Calibur 4 with Darth Vader and Yoda. Adding these DLC characters to a game can enhance the experience in many ways. It can help extend the game's lifespan by adding these additional characters in and the playing experience. So, you have a new character come in. What does the character have to offer? People will want to play the character. Because of that, more people are going to be starting to play the game, or people that are continuing to play the game will want to keep playing the game and keep the momentum of it moving forward. DLC characters bring variety and are refreshing. The first DLC character for Tekken 8 for Spring was Eddie. There were not any other capoeira characters in the game until Eddie came through. So you want a variety, you want to broaden the cast. There's people out there that are casual players, competitive players. What do they have in common? They're players in general, but they like to have a variety of characters. So if you have a unique character in there, like Eddie, with a unique move set, that can definitely attract and be attractive to different people. These DLC characters support the companies and the developers that are creating these games and these features after the game has been released. The question is, can the character create sales? The content that is being created is basically done so that it can have a return on the investment of creating what they're producing, whatever it may be. It can be a background, it can be music, it can be art, it can be, specifically for our topic today, it's a character. And we're looking straight into Heihachi's lovely face. So What is going on here? What is the appeal of this character? What strengths does he have, lore-wise, game-wise? Is he attractive enough for people to say, I will buy the DLC package, or I will buy this DLC character and make that investment in him? DLCs bring engaging conversation and engagement in the game's casual and competitive communities. When the announcements started coming out for Heihachi, there was a lot of marketing involved, a lot of social media presence. There was a table talk discussion. There were a lot of things involved in the build-up of this character to be released to the public. That helps build momentum and spreads for people to think, maybe this is something I want to invest in, maybe this is something that I want to put time into, such character looks good, and I'm interested in moving with this and talking about it and being engaged with it, and looking at the different art, and the different cutscenes and special, special moments and things like that that are all tied to this character. What makes certain characters a good DLC content to pick? Characters that are interesting, that have good artistic style, and a background history that allows the story to grow. So, characters that are engaging, typically, I'm speaking more now for historic characters, canon. Characters that have a long history behind them, that are engaging to the public because they might be entertaining to watch in high-level play. They may be entertaining to play for whatever reason. It could be because of their moveset. It could be because they're strong. People just like their visual design. People like their audio cues. People enjoy their storyline and their lore. People want to know where the storyline and lore is going to go. And a lot of times that helps sell these characters. Now, for new characters, it's I believe a harder drawing board. They have to create a character that artistically looks fantastic, has a great moveset, would have an interesting storyline, and be strong and entertaining to have people say, this looks like a character that I would want to purchase. Now, and play casually or competitively. A character for Street Fighter that we just experienced that had that is Terry Bogard, the crossover for SNK into Capcom's Street Fighter, right? And this was a massive crossover collaboration. So there was a very, very big deal and business involved in sharing of licenses, using their licensed product correctly, and it shown in a very good light, and using that to basically uplift both companies and its marketing and helping both. When thinking of artistic style, how well does the character blend in with the rest of the cast? So you don't want to have a character that looks as if they don't belong in the game at all, or they are just completely not in queue with the rest of the group. Heihachi, because of his history, it was shocking for a lot of people that his death either wasn't acknowledged right away and he wasn't in the initial cast for Tekken 8. because Heihachi is a huge founding force of Tekken, to the point that I would say he's probably, if we look at all the Tekkens, he's probably the most important of 5. Now, if we look at the oldest Tekkens, I would say the most important characters would be Heihachi, Kazuya, and Jun. But now, as the game has progressed, technically 6. If we go up to Tekken 7, we could say Heihachi, Kazuya, Jun, Jin, and Devil Jin. Now we're adding Reina to it also. So for Tekken 8, that would be 6. 6 very important characters to work with the storyline. A blending of these characters is very important. And I would have to say specifically for Tekken, because a lot of these characters are related to each other, so visually you're trying to have them and their features also be a little bit cohesive with each other. From a technical aspect, the character would be balanced with the rest of the gameplay. They have to have a decent amount of damage, a good neutral game, some plus moves, accessible combos, a decent reversal, plus frames, a consistent anti-air, decent walk speed, and movement in general. Those are some of the things that help create a good DLC character. Unless you have a character that's just looks like they're absolutely awesome, oh my gosh, you know, this character is ridiculous, and then they break some of the rules, and then people want to buy them anyways. Marvel vs. Capcom 3, Jean Grey. Hey, you know, I have access to Jean Grey. She's the new DLC character. What happens when she turns into Phoenix? You can hit her, you know, a very few amount of times. I believe it's 2 or 3 times, and then she's gonna die. But until then, she's gonna pretty much destroy everybody that's in her way, because she's unbelievably powerful, right? She doesn't follow the traditional rules of what you would think a normal, a regular, everyday fighting game character would encompass. But because of her strengths, her weaknesses are easier to accept. If she was a DLC character, she would be a very popular DLC character. There are many factors that go into what can make a good, fantastic DLC character, and how to be appealing to the people and have people be appealed to them in a company standard. It is up to your preferences of what you like to see if you want to try them out and give them a go under, you know, what you're witnessing and seeing and everything. So in the end, as these characters are being produced and put out into the public, it's up to the consumer to say, this is something I'm interested, this is something that I'm not interested in, and look at everything that's being presented and go, you know what, I think this is pretty awesome, and I'm going to go for it and try it out. And to be honest, it may be the character for you. You never know. You could try a different style, you can try, you know, a different type of character there, and it could be just what you were looking for, or a secondary. So it's pretty awesome there. So anybody have any thoughts? Any thoughts on DLC characters? That's a great point regarding the introducing the new characters. There's a new character. If there's a character in Smash Brothers, I initially that didn't belong on the roster until I learned about the history. The character is none other than Mr. Games and Watch. Very interesting. Let me look that up. Let me look that up there. Let's see. Oh, yes. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I've seen him. I've seen him. He's interesting, right? A 2D generic stick figure silhouette man. Yeah. DLC, pay to win there. Yeah, that's him. Yeah, yeah. I looked him up too. I saw him years ago. I thought, who is this guy? I remember. I remember looking him up too. Yeah, yeah, definitely. Very neat. I came to love him because he's kind of goofy. I used to main game and watch when people or yeah, Smash players are competing. Yeah, yeah. I know that Jigglypuff is strong. I remember people saying Jigglypuff's very strong. Yeah, yeah. But in the end, you know, and of course we're talking about the characters in general, right? DLC characters are, you know, they are important. And they're one of the things that help keep the maintenance and the fun things in the game going. It helps switch up the competition. It helps bring in something new visually. It helps give, you know, some money to the companies so that they can continue developing and working on all of this. It's really a circular type of thing. Yeah. Snorlax. Absolutely. H-Box is good with her. Falls short in Ultimate. Melee. More consistent. Yeah. Yeah. So what are some of your favorite DLC characters? I think they did a good job. A very good job with Heihachi. The story, Unforgotten Echoes, is good. It's very good. Terry in Street Fighter 6 is very good. Terry in Street Fighter 6 is very, very good. And the first show that we did was about collaborations of Capcom and Marvel. And then for the DLC character, because Heihachi was just released, we're doing Tekken. We're doing Tekken for that. Yeah. He's so mad. Any game's fine. Yeah, any game. Any game's good. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. Friendly competition is a good thing. Rising tide Raises all ships. Healthy DLC crossover is a very big deal. Yes, I agree with that. I agree with that. And companies that friendly go back and forth a little bit there. I know some companies that had gone in back and forth with Dead by Daylight, and it worked out. It worked out very well. It worked out very, very well. And you know, to the point that one of the characters in particular is doing very well. And it's been about a year, 2 years since the release. And I'm talking about Wesker. Wesker's doing very well in Dead by Daylight. He's popular. Very popular killer. And, you know, that was a very, very good merger and crossover to see. That it worked out like that. Very, very good. Yeah. Yeah, and it pushes innovation forward. That's right, yeah. Because the funny thing is, you know, at the end of the day, not everybody thinks the same. So it's good to have sometimes a lot of different hats in, you know. You know how they say sometimes too many cooks in the kitchen? You need that sometimes, though, because it helps bring different thoughts and aspects. Sometimes it's a good thing. An example of this is the Tekken storyline. The Tekken storyline is kind of going a little all over the place. Guess what? I don't care. I'm entertained. Leave it alone. Let them do the story, you know, however they want to do the story. And if we want to backtrack and say, well, really, you know, this happened along the way, go for it. Because that's telling me that something else is being developed that is going to take another turn and be another story. So, and that's the point of all this stuff. You don't ever want to, you know, we're dealing with video games here. You know, we want this to be entertaining. We want it to be a little bit, you know, mythical and well, entertaining and just and really, to be honest, a little out of our grasp, a little out of our reach. Because if it was something that we could just nail down and say, oh, this is, you know, that wouldn't happen every day, an everyday occurrence. It's not supposed to happen everyday occurrence. It's supposed to entertain us, you know, and be a little out there, you know, let it be a little out there. I think it's a good thing. Abba and Guilty Gear, Banjo and Smash, Bayo and Smash, Khalifi, Dragon Ball Fire, Slayer, Guilty Gear, Johnny, Guilty Gear, Sora, and Smash. Very nice. Roger Jr. in Tekken 8. Boy, let me tell you guys, we need to look further into that whole genetic DNA manipulation. I think it would be a cool thing if they would bring Roger back in, if they would bring Alex back in, because then that Tekken 2 storyline will get pulled into Tekken 8. And here's why it's important. I kind of touched on this a couple of days ago. I said, you know, you have Kazuya, and I don't know all of the specifics about Tekken. I want to put that out on the table. I know some things, but I don't know everything. But I know a handful of things. And things change along the way. But this is how I understand how things went. Heihachi and Kazumi had Kazuya. Heihachi went and took the company away from Jinpachi, his dad. And he took him and everybody was in shock. Now, Akazi is like 3 years old, 4 years old. He doesn't know what the heck's going on. Kazumi and Jinpachi are in shock that he would do this, because it seemed out of character, supposedly, for him. Now, this was back then, right? Or this is even for Tekken 7, I believe. So, no, earlier than that. So, Kazumi, over time, starts to devil up, and she finally loses it and becomes a devil, approaches him, tries to kill him, because he went and took his father and locked him in a room in a dojo underneath a building to get his father out of the way and basically kill him. So she said, this is enough. She tries to wipe him out, and he ends up killing her. Then he goes to Kazuya, and he's going, what do I do with him? Because he may have this, whatever this is my wife has. And I have to hope that it's not me, right? I believe Kazuya didn't know any of this happened. He's like 4 or 5 years old. So he gets beaten up, thrown off the mountain, and he survives. The devil gene goes off. Now, does the devil gene go off and he sustains the injuries, and then he calms himself down and turns back into a little boy again and is able to get into the house? Or was he able to just... Because as far as what we've seen, when somebody gets attacked, you know, or shot, or thrown off a mountain, or in a volcano, or lasered, or whatever, they immediately become a devil. So what I'm thinking is, we're dealing with a devil little boy, and then all of a sudden he's probably going, holy crap, what the hell is this? And he calms himself down, gets back to the house, grows up, takes his revenge on his dad, and kicks him off the mountain, right? Then he takes over the business, and he starts doing genetic testing to see what happens, how did I get this, what the hell's going on. And I think that is an important part of the storyline, because then he's getting in all these exotic animals, he's you know, making dinosaurs, he's doing all this stuff, because he's trying to figure out, well, what the hell's going on with my body that I can do this. And he probably hadn't experienced anybody else that could do anything like that. And no offense, I mean, if you had something like that going on, I don't think you would be, you know, announcing it to the world, you know. So it's very interesting, really. Hey there, what's up, what's up? No, Big K. I appreciate that. Yeah, appeal to the imagination. So, you know, so that's the key. They could really expand upon, if they brought back some of the characters from Tekken 2 and 3, you know, and even Tag. They could really start expanding some of the storylines, you know, in that direction also, as of, well, what happened to these characters? What happened to Roger? You know, what happened to Alex? You know, they were these characters that were, you know, testing to try to find answers, and now, you know, what's going on? What's going on with them? I don't know if we're going to see another Tag game, but as in a Tekken Tag, like Tekken Tag 3, but it would be nice to see, you know, what some of the other characters are doing, even if it's mentioned in the story mode somehow. Mokujin, yes, Mokujin, and actually, Mokujin is a very significant, a very big deal. These games have a lot of history and religious ties to them, and it's very interesting. Even Mokujin, yeah, yeah, yeah. That would be really something to see. But at the same time, and I use the example for Street Fighter 6, for this, and and also Tekken 8. Street Fighter 6 did a fantastic job with the new characters in that game. They're very, very, very cool and very, very good. We've got Jamie and JP, we've got Manon and Marissa, Kimberly, Aki. Very, very strong, fun characters, and they have good storylines. Visually, they're fantastic. I want to buy this package because I want to buy the skull, and I just want to have a skull mask. And then there's going to be other people that are going to say, I want to buy this package because I want somebody to look like they're in a ripped up robe, and they're going to beat the crap out of somebody. So, and they want to see their character's face in there. And then if you want to, then you can put the different eyes on and the paint and all that stuff, or not. You can have them be however. But if you took that out, then you could basically get a little more mileage out of it, is my thoughts. But it does look neat. It does look very, very cool. But that's just a thought. That's just a thought for, that I had thought. But, yeah, it's very, very neat. Very neat. Mr. Safe. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, I use a lot of Zangief there. Little niece wants a Pokemon. And Tekken. Play for fun. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. Yeah, and that's another thing too. I mean, there's people that you'll say, "Hey, I'm just going to get this fighting pass just because." Just because. And the funny thing is, you can get the fighting pass just because. Now look at this. Here's Heihachi. He just came out. He's already 300 off of what the original price would have been. So you're already saving on him from what the price initially would have been. If you get the fight pass, as you go through, and this is the same with the Street Fighter Pass, you get all these tokens and things along the way, and it helps. It basically cushions what you got, so then you can use this towards other things. So it's not as if it's like you're spending, but then you're getting some money back. It's like a coupon or something. It's like in-game currency coupons, which is handy. Street Fighter 6 is big for that. If you buy the fighting pass for 6, then you can get amounts back. Is this a